Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back. This is a video where I get my book ready to be sent out to beta readers. Good morning. It is Sunday, March 31st, the last day of March. As you saw in the last vlog, I did finish my second draft on time, which my goal was to finish it by the end of March, and I did. And that's really exciting. However, I'm currently going through and working on some revisions and just kind of working on getting it ready to be sent out to beta readers. I didn't realize how much of a process it would be to get this book ready to be sent out. I just thought that it would be, you know, a few fixes here and there, but I ended up looking back and I realized that there were a lot of major fixes that I needed to change or like needed to do in order to be ready to send this out. And I realized I can't do all of them in a reasonable amount of time and still call this draft 2. So I'm going to do the really minor ones and just focus on things like adding in a scene to explain one thing that happens just because I skipped over it when I was writing it. So things I just skipped over, adding those things in, and then making sure that everything has a name, because I also had like temporary names for a lot of things and I just kind of put in placeholders. I need to write a letter for my beta readers. I need to organize all my questions for them. I need to format the document. I also need to print the document. I need to do a lot of stuff actually, but all of this is just really exciting because now I'm done and I'm feeling like, okay, this is all of this I get to do after is almost like a reward for me. So I'm not complaining about this part at all. I'm actually really excited about it. Really looking forward to it. So I think I'm gonna make this video all about me kind of going through and making all of these revisions and edits and just kind of getting the book ready. And then I'm gonna make a separate video for how I'm formatting everything, what I'm writing in my letter to my beta readers, the kind of questions I'm asking, all of that kind of stuff. But this one is gonna be all about me getting it ready to be sent out to beta readers, which I'm really excited about. Also, I went to my very first ice hockey game a couple days ago, and that was really exciting. As someone who loves reading hockey romance, and also I have been watching hockey a lot, or a bit. Hockey is actually a really interesting sport, so I'm glad that I was able to go. It was just like a local hockey team. It wasn't like NHL level or anything, but it was still really fun. And I went with my friend and I had a really great time. Yesterday, I met with one of my beta readers for the first time, and she was really amazing. I met her and I was like, I feel like we're already close. Like, I feel like I've already known you for a really long time. So she was super sweet and it was really great to meet her. And of course, we went to Fable Hollow, the coffee shop that we go to literally all the time. Amazing. It's fantasy themed and I don't think there's any better place to go and work on my high fantasy novel than Fable Hollow. Anyway, I had a not so productive day yesterday, but I did have a good time. My friend ended up cooking for us and that was really sweet. Catches you up to today, and today is Sunday. I was initially supposed to do my grad photo shoot today, however that was moved to next week, so I have kind of the whole day to myself. And since it's been like Easter recess, we've had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, so it's been a really great like few days off. It was much needed, and this next week that's coming up is super hectic and crazy, but this week is just kind of one day at a time. So we're gonna take it one day at a time. I'm gonna try to balance everything between writing and working on my homework today. And then I wanna go out for a walk later today because the weather is really, really pretty outside and it's supposed to be like 70 something degrees in the evening. So I think it's gonna be perfect to go take a little walk in. And I think I'm gonna try to get all my homework done before that so that I can enjoy my walk. But I'm really excited about today. I want this to be a really productive day, and I'm just really excited that I get to work on this part of getting this draft ready to be sent out to my beta readers. Okay, so something that I do a lot when I'm writing and I don't want to like lose that momentum of that I found when I'm writing, I tend to, for example, if I need to name something or someone, I tend to just put like open bracket, name, close bracket, and then I just keep going, and I do that for every instance that name is being mentioned. What that really does is, one, keeps me from losing my momentum, and two, gives me the opportunity to really kind of take the time to pick a name later without the pressure of like, oh my god, I need to get back to writing, or like I'm wasting writing time, or whatever the pressure may be coming from. I can, avert that by just putting in that placeholder. But now that I finished writing, I have to go through all of those placeholders and fill them in. I'm not really looking forward to doing that. However, that also applies to a lot of my main character names. So that is something, my philosophy with giving things names or giving people names is that it just has to feel right. Like it has to feel like that's their name. And especially when it's for like a main character. So I have this one main character whose name I have picked since I worked on for a while. Basically, I've had her name picked out for quite a while, and now I'm changing it because her name is too similar to my main character, and it kind of gets confusing when we're talking or I'm talking about it, and I often like switch the names up because they're so similar. But giving her that name helped me realize that her name definitely starts with an E. I have a couple of ideas for it. I think I have one that I'm gonna go with. But also the thing about names is like you can always change them later. Like it's so easy to change later, but I always push things off until later, and then I never end up, and then when I end up at the point where it's later and I have to absolutely fix it, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do that. That's a lot of pressure. So yeah, not the best decision, making skills over here. However, I think I've finished some of the major scene inserts that I had to do. So I think I finished all of those, unless I missed one. I'm gonna comb through my notes and see if I forgot one, but I think I'm gonna start going through and naming things now. And I have a love-hate relationship with naming things just because finding the perfect name is incredibly difficult. And so I dread it, but once I find the right name, I feel a lot better about it. So I'm just gonna start because that's the only way I'm gonna make progress on this. Wish me luck. So I just hit search on the open bracket so I could find everything with an open bracket, and it's been searching for about 20 seconds now. Okay, it just finished and there's 727 of these. Yay. Okay, just to clarify, there are 727 of these, but a lot of them are like repeats because the same person's name is being said a lot of times, and then I always bracket it so I can find it later and then come back and see how many brackets we're left with after that. But 700 is insane. finished writing all the major scenes that I needed to write. However, I need to update, or not update, just kind of like rewrite the beginning. Not even rewrite, I just need to change some things about the opening. And that is the only other like writing thing that I have to do other than just coming up with names. As for naming things, it's going well in that I've decided that I'm gonna keep most of the names that I already had, because I don't know, I'm not feeling like I want to change them too much, because I haven't been able to find one that's like, oh yeah, that's the one. For that character that I was talking about, her name, I don't think I'm gonna change it. I think it's okay that it's so similar to the main character's name, because it's not spelled the same way, it just sounds the same. I feel like that is her name, and if I tried to change it, it would just reflect poorly on her character. And I did change it, and then I looked at it and I was like, this is not her name, like this is not her, this is a different person. As for the other characters, I'm still in the process of renaming them, and I've renamed the city that they're in. I'm trying to decide the name of this thing that pops up in the story. I have also named a couple of the guards that end up becoming kind of important in the story, and then I was going to change their last name, but then I decided to keep it as it is because it feels like it's all right. I'm overthinking it. That's the other thing, is like I constantly feel like I'm overthinking a lot of this and that it doesn't need to change. I didn't change, I actually gave names to 2 of the gods that didn't have names, so that is done. And then I had the hardest time coming up with a name for this flower in their world. Don't even ask. I made it so much harder than it was, but then I ended up naming it something that also does a little bit of the world building. I don't know if it actually does. I don't know. It's too much to think about right now. This is a very slow going process. At the rate that I'm going, I might be able to finish this today, so then I can spend tomorrow working on writing my letter for the beta readers and organizing all my questions and all of that stuff. And I might actually put that in this vlog if things go as planned, but we'll see. Also, I made myself some matcha because I was getting kind of tired and it's really quiet in here and cold, and I just needed something to warm me up. Update, it is currently 4:37. I have been working on this since like 10 or something this morning, like super early, and I've been working on it for such a long time that I'm starting to get tired of it. But I have gotten the brackets from 700 to 45, 700 something to just 45. I have made a shit ton of progress and I'm super happy about it. However, I am getting really tired of naming things because everything suddenly needs a name and I need to calculate things like numbers and time, and my brain is just like, please don't make me do another one of those things again. I'm gonna take this as a win for today and work on this maybe tomorrow or some other time. There's not that many left, so I think it should be totally doable. The other thing, I need to go ahead and start writing my letter to my beta readers, which I'm really excited about, but I need to kind of organize what I'm gonna say. So I think I might do that now or take a break and then do it later, just because I've been working on it for so long without a break. I actually don't think I've taken a break since I started working on this, so that's fantastic. However, I am going for a walk in about an hour with my roommate, so it's really lovely weather outside. It's about 70 something degrees and it just looks really pretty and I just want to go outside. So we will be going for a walk in about an hour, but until then, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, watch some YouTube, eat something, and then maybe work on some homework instead and work on something technical and sciencey instead of creative. I originally thought this was gonna be a vlog where I do this for the entire vlog, but I think since I've made so much progress, I'll be able to finish this up. And for the rest of the vlog, I think we're gonna be tackling the beta reader letter / questions, formatting the document to print and to send out to beta readers. A lot of stuff happening. Really, really excited, but right now I need a break. Extremely long day. Hold on. I just finished dinner after the library, which I was there for 9 hours. I came back, went to the gym, and then came back and did an ab workout, and then I showered, made dinner, just ate dinner, and then I realized I forgot my golden earrings on the treadmill in the gym, and the way that I ran to the gym, and luckily they hadn't been stolen, but I did run wearing like my pajamas and people looked at me weird, but I was like, keep working out, mind your own business. Anyways, so it is 9 o'clock. I am unbelievably tired, but my workshop is tomorrow for my novel excerpt that I submitted. It's my second workshop for this class, for this novel. And I am super close to getting this package ready to be sent out to beta readers. I thought that I would kind of share with you guys what exactly I'm putting in this package, just because it's pretty long. There's a lot of stuff that exists in this package. I'm starting off with like a welcome letter, which is basically, it says things like, thank you so much for reading this, what the total word count is, how many chapters there are, this is book 1 of 7 or 8, the genre, how long I've been working on it, and what draft this is. Just some notes for them to remember, because there is a part of the book that I know I'm going to change, but I've kind of made a note for that, so I'm just like, hey, if you have notes about this, don't, because I'm removing it, so it's irrelevant. And then kind of just like, I'm just gonna read you guys something from it. I wanted to be very clear about the kind of feedback that I'm looking for so that nobody wastes their time. So I'm just gonna read a little bit of the letter, but basically I said some things about the type of feedback I'm looking for. Since this is only the second draft of the manuscript, I'm mainly just looking for high-level developmental feedback. I'm trying to see if the story makes sense logically regarding the plot, character motivations, pacing, etc. I want to know if the foundation of the story holds up before I move on to the smaller things. I kind of outline everything that's part of the package. So I kind of give them like a table of contents for the package. So we have this letter, introduction letter, and then we have some inspo links. So basically it's like my Pinterest board, Spotify playlist. I was just like, there's absolutely no pressure to look at these. They're just there if you're curious. And then I have a page on how, because I'm submitting this as a Word document to them, so I have a page on how to track those changes. There's like a setting you have to do. So I've kind of put like a little tutorial on how to do that, just like a quick little tutorial. And then I put a link to a video that shows you how to do that. And then I have, so basically I have two parts of questions, basically two lists of questions essentially. So the first list goes before the actual manuscript. So I have questions part 1. These are questions to just keep in the back of your mind while reading and help give you an idea of what kind of feedback I'm looking for. And so these are things like, and I can read you guys some of them, but they're basically just like, can you please mark moments where you were surprised, or moments that you really loved, or dialogue that you really liked. Like things that I need them to, know before they start reading, so they know to keep track of it as they're reading. And then after that, we have the manuscript. Then we have questions part 2. And those are all the questions that have like spoilers in them, specifically, regarding a scene, or questions that are just like, that can be answered once the story is read in full. Things like, was the pacing slow at any point, or did you anticipate the ending, things like that. And then I included a sequel sneak peek, which is something that I'm really glad I came up with. But basically the sequel sneak peek is just the first like 3 chapters, like the first 12 pages, because I have it written, but it's just the first draft. So I basically said I've included the first 12 pages of the first draft of the sequel, emphasis on first. They are straight from my brain onto the page. Because I'm not looking for feedback on these chapters, please don't feel obligated to read them. I just thought it would be cool to include them to give you a very rough idea of where the story is headed after it ends. I know the manuscript is already a monster as it is, so there's absolutely no need to read these chapters. It's just for your curiosity. And then I have the outro letter, which is like a big thank you and like how to submit all of this information to me. And then also I would like, basically me telling them I would like to meet up with them one-on-one, just kind of hear their thoughts and answer any questions that they might have. And then this is something that I'm planning on doing when I'm sending it out, but I'm sending out basically 3 files in the email. So the first one is going to be this whole package. The second one is going to be the manuscript in an EPUB format in case they want to read it on a Kindle or iPad or whatever. And then the last file is going to be the list of the questions from before the manuscript and the list of the questions after the manuscript, put into one document so that they don't have to scroll up and down while they're reading. And then I gave them kind of a timeline that I'm expecting. But like I said, I was like, this is an estimate. I have no like problem if you go over this. Like, this is just something I needed to say, but please don't feel like pressured to stick to it. Ask them to go easy on me because this is literally my baby. So I'm gonna read some of the questions from part 1. Do the first 5 pages make you want to keep reading? Second one, would you keep reading after the first chapter? Why? Did you get oriented quickly at the beginning as to whose story it is, what's going on, and where and when it's taking place? If not, what were you confused about at the beginning? Things like that. And then there's stuff I asked them to mark while they were reading, like, please mark any places where a character seems inconsistent, whether that is through dialogue or action. Please mark any places that elicit emotion in you as you're reading, whether that be happy or sad. A cover page for the manuscript. I still need to include the manuscript because I still need to finish editing it, but once I'm finished with that, I'm going to go ahead and include that into this document. And then I also need to convert it into an EPUB, and then I also need to print it out for one of my friends because she would rather have it, or for one of my beta readers who's also my friend, because she would rather have it printed out. I also need to print it out for myself. But then some questions from part 2, I'll read you the ones that aren't spoilery. But who does the story belong to? Were they the most fascinating character to you? What did you think of the ending? Was it satisfying? Did it leave you on enough of a cliffhanger to want more, or did it leave too many things unanswered? Was the ending emotionally fulfilling? This next question I'm about to read is one that I came up with, but this is just a curiosity of mine. But what books would you say you've read that this reminds you of? Basically, what books would you consider comps for this one? What about the characters or character relationships? Do any of them remind you of something you've read in other books or series? And do you have any book or movie recommendations for me after reading this. And that's just something that kind of like as a fun little curiosity of mine. It's not like a serious question or anything. And then I have a sneak peek of the sequel, and then I have a outro letter basically thanking them, how to send me feedback, and then figuring out if we can talk about it afterward. Yeah, that is the beta reader package that I'm sending them. I'm going to shrink the number of beta readers I had. I think I talked about it in the previous videos, but I had quite a few, and I think I'm gonna reduce that number because I do want to be able to ask some people to read draft 3, and I don't want to ask everybody I know to read draft 2 and then have to ask them to read draft 3 as well, because I feel like that it's just so much to read. But I'm super excited about this. I worked on this straight all morning and I got it done. Already this document is at 7,678 words without the manuscript, so I'm a little concerned. I've got the open brackets up down to 16, but I just want to be done with this. Like, I feel like it's just not ending. Like, the more I work on it, the more I find to work on it, and I'm just like, I'm over it, and it's not over me. I am editing the vlog that was supposed to finish last night, and I'm getting emotional because I'm watching the scene where I finished, or the part where I finished the draft, but I'm like laying it over with like kind of gentle acoustic music, and it's also clips of me and my friends, and it's just, I don't know why I'm getting so worked up about this, but I think this might be my favorite vlog that I've done so far, just because it's so personal to me. Like, it has all my friends in it, and it has a big achievement, and it's just, I don't know, I'm getting really emotional about this. It's been a few crazy days, and I haven't been really good about updating you guys, but today is Thursday, and it's pretty late. I need to probably go to bed like an hour ago, but I was just working on finishing up some homework, and I just finished looking over the package that I'm sending out to my beta readers, making sure that everything looks right for the 10th time, because I didn't want any mistakes at all. And then I also so I'm sending them 3 different files. So I have the package with a lot of other stuff in it, and then I have the actual manuscript, which is in an EPUB format. It is in the package as well, but I wanted to put it in an EPUB format as well. And then I also have a list of like questions for them to keep in mind, or questions that I have for them to answer before and after they read, or before and during reading the manuscript. But I just scheduled all of the emails to be sent out to my beta readers tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So I will have just finished my class. I am printing it out for one of my beta readers just because she requested that. I'm like trying not to think about it too much, because I'm like, I know I'm gonna get too much in my head if I try to think about it, but this is like the first time that other people will look at this in its entirety. Like, I've had workshops obviously, but this is the very first time that somebody's gonna look at this and see the whole thing. And it's like 2 years of my life, and I can't imagine how I'm gonna feel when I get all this feedback, just because I have really thin skin, and I know I need to work on that. I know that like part of being in this industry, I'm not actually even in the industry, I'm just writing a book, it's not even in there yet, but part of like being a writer means having thick skin, and I'm still learning how to do that, but I'm also kind of new at the whole writer thing. even though I have been writing since I was like 11. But anyways, I also wanted to kind of give you an idea of what kind of beta readers I picked. So as you know, I'm writing a YA high fantasy novel, which is book 1 of like 7 or 8. And I picked, so 3 of the beta readers that I picked are in my English class currently. They are also working on their own novels, but they're all 3 working on very different novels. One of them is working on a high fantasy novel as well, but it's not YA. I think it's NA, new adult. And then another one is working on a rom-com. And then another one is working on, I think, a magical realism type of novel or novella. So they're all working on completely different, like their own things, but they're all writers, and they're very close friends of mine, which I know you shouldn't ask your friends to beta read for you, but I made an exception because 1, they volunteered and they're very sweet, but 2, they are writers, and I think that insight will really help, and I really, like, I think their writing is really good. I would be lucky to have their feedback, essentially. So, and then my 4th beta reader is somebody I talked about in the last vlog, I think, but she beta read for one of my favorite series. I don't know if I can name it, but I am super excited to have her beta read it. I wish I could give her draft 3 instead of this one, just because I like wanted to be a little bit more polished before I gave it to her, just because she's, you know, worked with like an amazing author, and I wish that I had more time to like, or I wish I was already at draft 3 and then I met her, but it is what it is. I'm actually still very excited to get her feedback. And I'm just like also really nervous because I don't know, like there's already like so much pressure on writing a really good book, and then having somebody pick it apart is just, it's not fun. I know it's good for the book, but it's just not fun. Oh yeah, and the 4th beta reader, she's not a writer, but she's very well read in the genre that I'm writing in. Anyway, it is late and I am gonna head to bed, but I think I'm gonna end this vlog off here because there's nothing much left for me to do. It's gonna be sent out to them tomorrow. I will see you guys in the next one, and I don't even know what it will be about because I'm going to be taking a break from writing. I don't know how long it'll be, but I definitely know that I need one. I might make another sit down video. I don't know what I'm planning, but it's over. The draft 2 is officially complete, and I could not be more proud of it. But anyways, I hope that this video was really fun, and I hope that you're excited as I am, because I'm really excited. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.